So I'm always talking about how you can take PLR products, and if they don't fit in your niche or they don't fit in something that you're trying to do, how you can take them and totally turn them into something else. And I call it, don't look at the templates for what they are and say, oh, that doesn't, and nothing I can use. Look at the template for what it could be. So in this example, I have a link below. It's a 12-week habit tracker wellness plants version. Okay. And I have the link. You can get it for free if you want to follow along, or if you want to morph them into something else, you can look down in the description. So when you get the sheet from me, you get the email with the links. We're going to click here on the habit trackers. So if you've not done this before, if you've done this before, you can fast forward, send the speed up a little bit. But if you haven't, just make sure your Canva account is open. And then you click on that link and you're going to get here. It's going to say use template. So you're going to click on that. Okay. That's going to bring you into Canva, but you have to be signed into your Canva when you do that. Okay. So if you see here, it says copy of habit tracker, wellness plants, PLR, Biddy Spire. That's me. So what this is it's the same habit tracker sheet, but each one is a different wellness plant. And then the icons here that you would check off to check along your habits. Okay. Morning and daytime routine, self-care, evening routine. I smiled, I laughed, I loved today. Now you can change those to anything you want. But you'll just see, so it's 12 different pages with 12 different icons. Okay. So you have that, and we're going to totally break it apart and do something different. But first, what you're going to do is hit file and make a copy. And then just name it whatever you want. And typically what I do is I name the first one master copy. I'm just going to call it test because then I'll know I can delete it later. And if you have folders that you would save it to, like a PLR folder or a habit tracker folder or a different folder, then when you hit save, you would hit save and you would save it to that folder. Okay. If you've never saved to folders before, you would click on save to folders. Now I have a ton of folders. I have folders for days. If you do not, or if you want to create a new one, you just go to create new. And I will just call this YouTube video samples, maybe. Okay. And I'm going to just save it there. And then I do this thing that you may think is a ridiculous extra step, but trust me, it saved me a lot of time more than once, is I would make another copy. And this time I would call it working copy, right? Because I'm working on it. And I don't want to, in other words, I don't want to mess up my master copy and then have to worry about where's the download page. Oh my God, where am I going to get it from? So I call one a master copy and I just keep that forever because then I can always change it again, or if I need a page. And this one I call working copy, and I hit file, save to folder. And because that folder I just made is the one I just literally did, it comes up on top and you hit save. Okay. Now you're ready to do this. So I did go ahead, I did start doing things, but what I want to show you what I was doing, I have, if you're familiar with bundles, right? I have a bundle coming up, and it's any of the fall holidays, not limited to just the November, December holidays. So I made a list of 10 different holidays, and I called it Habit Tracker Fall Holidays. And so I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to change each one into a different fall thing. Now, maybe you know more holidays than me in fall, but I'm going to make one sheet fall, one sheet winter, and then Halloween and Kwanzaa and Diwali and Christmas and whatever. So anyway, so what I do when I get a new template, a PLR template, I'm like, okay, what's this made up of? What is this? What are all the parts and how do I get rid of them? Right? Because this is a bamboo. So I'm just going to try to click on it and delete it. Okay. Now I see what that is. Now this I might leave here. I don't have any problems with anything on this page right now. These I'm going to change out and make into matching icons for whatever page or holiday I'm talking about. Okay. So now you have your blank page, and you can go ahead and hit this little plus box to just duplicate them so you have enough of them to go down. Okay. already done that. The next thing I do is I just made the background of this page green, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Again, I just made this green so that what I'm going to do is going to show up. And I always do this because it comes in handy on some of your design things. So I go to Elements, and you'll see all the ones I've been pulling up for this. And I go to Lines and Shapes, and I always pick this square here. So I throw the square in, and then I make it pretty big. And what I'm doing, let's just rewind and show you what I'm doing. When you see these dots, these dashes all over the place, you can pull them and change the width or the height. Okay, don't have to worry about being perfect because I got a little trick for you that's going to center this and whatever. So I do it about there because I'm always conscious of when I make printable products, like I don't want people to have to print them out with a ton of ink like all over. So I'm like, if I have any background image, I might put it in the back here. And then I take this sheet, I go up to the color square, and I just make it white. Okay. So now if I need this at any time, I just have to copy it and add it to my page. And I'll show you in times when I use that in this thing. But if not, I usually do that first. So I just have it and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to put it in any of the pages right now. But if I need to, I have it. So when you do this and you eyeball it and you say, you do get these little guides, right? You see the purple and the purple. So I'm guessing that might very well be in the center. But let's say it's not. I'm going to click on it. And when I do, I get these 3 dots. So where it says align to page, I want it to go to the center of the page, but I also want to go to the middle of the page. So I'm going to click those 3 dots again, go back to align to page and tell it to go to the middle. Now, game changer really, because otherwise you drive yourself crazy trying to make sure, is this in the center? Is this in the center? So I'm just keeping this. This is just Melanie prep. Okay. And then I have to tell you that I've already done some of this just because I didn't want this video to be an hour long. But so then I go, so let's look here. So here's fall. Okay. This is what I decided on fall, but how did I come to that? So I just go to Elements and I do fall and graphics and I see what comes up. And then I hit the filter up here. Okay. You see these 3 little lines? Whenever you're making products, they're supposed to be free elements so that we drive people back to Canva in order to edit them inside Canva, right? So I click on these 3 dots and I hit static because I don't want things that move. This is not going to be a video. And I hit free. So now when in my little search over here for fall, it's only going to show me things that are free or things that don't move. So then I can just pick whatever ones I want. So if I have this page here, I'll just make a copy of it. And I'm going to do fall. Like maybe I'll put this down at the bottom, just hypothetically, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe I want a leaf. And let me show you what I did there. I don't want to be tricky. So you click on it and then these little movement arrows come. So I'm just grabbing it and putting it in a downward like a leaf that would be falling. And you adjust the size there. And then put them, you can put them wherever you want. But let's just say I wanted to do that for fall. And then, I don't know, maybe I want something else up here. So you can keep looking. Another thing I can do that I like to do is search watercolor fall. Okay. So now it'll give me, so you'll see in mine down here, something I chose was this mushroom right here. See? Here's the mushroom and I just click on it and it comes there. But I didn't want to just do the mushroom. So I added this little blob here and then a leaf with a acorn on it. And that's where you pick things. Like if you like this little acorn and you want that to be falling, God knows they fall, right? You could add that too. So now I have fall. This was also a pattern, right? The other thing you could do is you can hit fall background. And then see sometimes you get a bunch of different things that you can choose from. So let's say I really want this background and I can slide it in, right? couple things you can do. This is where this sheet comes in handy, which I want to show you. I'm not going to keep that, but I want to show you. So I go up here, I copy this white sheet because I don't want this on my whole page. I come back here and I right click. I'm just right clicking, but you could do, you know, on my Mac, it's Command C, Command V. So it's Control V, Control C, Control V. But now see, it's covering my whole page and I don't want that. So I come to these three little dots and then I shoot down to layer and I say, you know, send it to the back. And there you go. Right? So now you just have this border on the outside. So if someone's purchased it, well, this is something I added. If someone's purchasing this from you, they don't have to print out, you know, an exorbitant amount of ink. So undo. I'm going to undo that and get that out of there. Now, another thing that I've done, let's say I really like that pattern. Instead of, if you click on it over here, you have two choices. You can drag it over and it'll take your whole background, right? Or let's say I just want to use a piece of it, so then I bring it over. It has these, not all of them do, but see, it has these little lines. So you could drag it and shrink it and just put the, you know, the leaves or something you want going down the side as well, right? And if you needed it to be longer, you would just duplicate it and you would put it right down there, okay? But I've already done that with a different thing up on the top here. So this is fall. So then the next thing I do is I say, okay, I can't have bamboo as my icons here. And I try to find something in this particular product. You see right here where I am in these icons, they're a little, they need to be a certain like size or shape. So in other words, if I pick these balloons, I'd have a hard time. Probably if I pick the rainbow, I'd probably have a hard time. So I just create and add a page. I just go to like this and add the page after. This is my prep. And you see I saved two different leaves here. Because what I'm going to do is decide which one I'm going to use to make the icons. Okay. But I'm going to come back to that because we're going to keep going down the row. Okay. So here I am with one that's just winter. It's just a winter theme, right? So I just literally I would start with typing in winter and see if there's anything I like. I still have the filter on that's free and that's free and static, meaning it doesn't move. So then I just pick something. Let's see. And if you don't like anything here, you can do other searches, right? You could do snowman, you could do many different things. But and some of these are holiday-ish too, and I didn't want that. But anyway, so you can just try different things. Up here, what I did, I'm going to duplicate this page and show you what I did. Okay, so I'll ungroup it. Hold on. I liked this picture, see, but it's a whole picture. I don't mean to be moving it around. I'm trying to get it where you want to see. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see that whole picture. I just want, you know, I just want the part that I want. So let's say I want right there, right? So I'm going to click on it. This little, you have to click inside of it and have the squares open up in purple. But then when you do, you just hit the duplicate button and I'm going to move it over there. So now this is how I'm making the pattern go all the way across the page. So I'm going to highlight them all. And also when you highlight, don't think you have to be perfect and like get the perfect square here, because see, then now I'm getting all kinds of things in here. I'm just going to loosely run my mouse across the top just so long as I grab all four of those pictures. So I'm going to do that. See, I've highlighted them all now, and I'm going to click the three dots, right? And I'm going to align them. I'm going to align them from, well, I'll do tidy up, which is space evenly first, but I don't think that's a problem. So now they're all evenly, you know, now they're together. So now I just make them smaller, whatever size. You play around with what you want. Stretch it out here. If you want, you can group them. And now that's just how I got that pattern going across there. For these snowflakes, let's see if I can find them. what I did for these snowflakes is always duplicate so I don't lose my thing. So this was an image that I just took the transparency way down and then repeated it. So I found the image over here and I brought it over. And then you see the checkerboard or the chessboard up top. I hit transparency. I brought it down to 7. So this is what that looked like. So that's why I say, if you see something over in the elements and you're like, oh my God, I don't want that color. Don't worry about it if you're changing, if your plan is to do something like this, right? I didn't shy away from these being black because I'm just going to turn the transparency down. I think I said 7. Yeah. And then I just hit this plus key, duplicated it, put it down here. Okay. So that's what I did there. And then for winter, oh, I duplicated it. Sorry. I picked this snowflake. So I was trying to stay with something round to replace these icons. I'm going to come back to that in a second and show you how that works. So then I just mull along. Okay. Then I'm just going along. And so for Veterans Day, similar thing here for Veterans Day is this was a pattern. I think it was this pattern here. And if you see, I just duplicated it. It's really, the truth is it's a big picture, but it doesn't matter if it hangs off the outside. It's not going to print, right? So what I did is just brought it over to where I wanted to use it and then had to duplicate it to make the stripe going down. And then just took the flag. The picture here is another picture that I took. See, it's actually this picture right here. But what I did, again, is come up to the chessboard and just brought the transparency all the way down. And then I moved it down here. Okay, so those are just more ideas. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to make it, I want it to be decorated, for lack of a better word. But I think the goal is with this product is it's going to be in a bundle before it'll be in my shop. So if you get the bundle or if you buy this in my shop, let's say, the goal would really be that you could sell these as a group, but you could also sell them individually, like maybe with a, November calendar or something, or a Halloween calendar. So I save the icon that I'm going to end up putting in there and I put it down there. And then the same here with Halloween. I found a pattern I liked. I only had to repeat it twice. I did an image here that I brought the transparency down. I kept the little haunted house there. Then I picked the smiling pumpkin for my thing. So Diwali, same thing. I have the image there. I did a bunch of these together because they want you to try to not use the elements just as they are and try to create them put them together with other things. So this is really one element 3 times and then 2 more. And then, I couldn't decide which one I like better out of these 2 to use for the, so, okay. So there's my Thanksgiving. And here's my Hanukkah, and here is my Kwanzaa, and here is my Christmas. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to move me back here for a minute. I'm going to go to this view just so I can pop up here for a second. I'm going to get rid of that page because we're not using it. Okay, so here's the first thing we have to do. Do you see when I created this original template, these are all grouped and together because I thought that was wise. Okay, I might have made them an image just to make it easier to do. So for our purposes now, I'm going to click in there. I'm going to copy or Command C, Command V, and then I'm going to bring it down here. All right, because this is the size I need ultimately. So I do that and I put it there. But then I duplicate this. So I don't want to make myself like crazy. I make it bigger. And now we're going to work with this leaf till it's about the size of that. Okay. And so I have the leaf. I click on it. I duplicate it out. I try to line it up with this picture again. And I'm just trying to save time, really, because I just keep hitting the plus sign until I have 7. And then I highlight them all. And then I hit these 3 dots, align elements, and they seem to be aligned because it's not giving me the option to tidy up. So that's great. So I'm going to highlight them all again. And again, I could just go like that. Do you see how fast I did it? Don't think that you have to be perfect when you do this, because you don't, and you'll just waste a lot of time. Just zip through, and then I'm going to group them. Now, when I was first creating this, I didn't have this to go by. So I was just trying to space them, space them, space them, space them, and get them where I needed. But now that I have this, I know that that's about the right size, right? And I'm going to do 5 rows just in case there's extra days in that month. So what I'm going to move this up here. I can make this a little bit smaller now. And then what I'm going to do is, it's already grouped. You have to group this in order to duplicate it easily. I mean, you could just highlight it, but it's just easier. They're grouped. So, so I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to hit this plus to duplicate. And then I'm going to try to line it up, right? And then I'm going to hit this plus to duplicate, hit this plus, and hit this plus. So now I have 5, right? But I want them to be lined up. So now I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to go to these 3 dots. I'm going to hit align element. Now it's not giving me the option for tidy up, which means they're good, they're aligned, and that's great. So now I will group the whole thing, and my goal before I get it up top is to make it this size. So the easy, you could drive yourself crazy and put this above here and then try to shrink it down. But what I've learned is, so wherever this box is, I'm going to line it up to the left. See how it's lined up to the left? And then I'm going to come down. You see how when you click on it, you have these 4 corners? I'm going to come to the bottom right corner and slide it up until it matches there. Okay. Oh, come on. Let's do this again just to show you what I'm talking about. All right, you have this big thing, and I want it to be this size. I can get rid of this now. So I'm going to line it up on the left. See, it'll tell me it's lined up because I'll get that little purple line that comes up there. And then I slide it until it lines up that way. So it's just what I call the easy way to do this. Now, this looks kind of bigger than this right now. Maybe about the same size, but you see how this comes down more? So I might have to go up there in order to get it fit. We're going to have a make it work moment. So I have taken out, I'm going to delete this out, delete this out, delete this out, delete this out. Now I'm going to bring this up here, and my goal is to make it fit. And sometimes it works lovely, and sometimes it's probably good that this is happening to me with this on video, because what it means is that they're a little bit off, and I have to play around to get it over that way. So this isn't a big deal. It's just a different shape than the bamboo. So even though I made it the same size, have no fear. So what we're going to do is ungroup this, right? Make it bigger. And now what I have to do is try to put a little bit more space between them. So what I'm doing now is I'm grouping the down. I'm grouping the columns. And I'll tell you why. I'm grouping the columns, and that way I don't have to move every column. I only have to move, did I not group this one? If I group all the columns, then I realize I need a little bit more space. I'm going to take just that one out, and then I'm going to highlight them, and now I'm going to use tidy up, and it's going to automatically move the others for me, so I don't have to drive myself batshit. I mean, sorry, crazy. Trying to do them all myself. So I'm going to bring them up here. And this is where it takes a little bit of time sometimes on a template, right? But now we're pretty good. It's a little bit, if I wanted to be really picky, and this is life, this happens sometimes. Now the problem is I have to ungroup them, and then I have to group the columns, by themselves again. But it just goes to show you, even when you have plans and you line it up by the size, because these are all different odd shaped things, sometimes it takes a little bit. So I'm just going to move this last one out just a bit. and then I'm going to highlight them all and go back and hit space evenly and hit tidy up again, group the whole entire thing, and let's go. All right, drag this corner in. Okay, it's a little tight, but I'm doing it. So I'm going to duplicate it and line it up and bring it there. And then I'm going to duplicate it and line it up and bring it there. And duplicate it and line it up. I have my lines that guide me. That is good. Okay, so now we're done. We're done with the first one, right? So always come back up and save, because sometimes Canva's a little bit mean and it will kick you off and it won't save what you did. The only last thing I have to do is decide if I want this green bar here. I like it. I don't hate it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click on it, which will highlight it. And you see it's this green color. So I'm going to come up here and it's going to give me a choice of all of my document colors. So I can either choose one from here or that little goldy one. I think I will choose the actual mushroom color. See? And there you go. So that one's done. I do want to do one more. Let's do one more example of changing over the icons. Okay. Because that was not as smooth. So I'm going to pull one out. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it by my snowflake here. Okay. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to make it bigger. I want you to be frightened by this. It's really not as bad as it seems. It's just a little bit of playing. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate my snowflake. Duplicate 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to grab I'm going to hit the 3 dots and they're aligned. So I'm going to group them. I'm going to come here and you see it seems that I'm a little bit narrow. So if I make them a little bit bigger, I'm trying to match the space here and save us some time on the other. Okay, that's about right. Move this out of my way. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to click on them all. I'm going to group them. And then I'm just going to, you can copy and paste or you can just slide it up here, but not to confuse you. Hold on. I'm going to get up here and get rid of these. I'm just clicking, highlighting them and deleting them. Now I bring Mr. Line Up Monday, pull this corner up on my snowflakes. Hold on. And that's tight, but I think it's pretty okay. Yeah, listen, if I wanted to, I could just move Saturday and Sunday over. Yep. Okay, so then I'm going to copy, paste, put them down here. Do it again, put it down here. I'm sorry if this is, I appreciate you taking with me. It's a good thing to learn. Okay, so now there we go. So now that is done as well. I will click on this green and I will pick this. Maybe I'll pick that blue color there. All right, so now you have 2 done out of however many. So the process would go quicker when you go down and you choose your icons for here. But I just wanted to show you, like don't be afraid of, not afraid, but don't be stuck, for maybe lack of a better word. You can change any PLR product you get into anything that you want. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Please leave me a comment if you want to see it turned into something else or a different kind of theme, and we'll do more products in future videos. And don't forget to click down below. You'll be able to get these habit trackers for free. Okay, thanks. Bye.